Yo, it's funny. We're getting ready for a huge game tonight, right?
Yes.
Tennessee Titans, Green Bay Packers. And if the Packers win, they are potentially in that last wild card spot, which changes the dynamic of the entire second half of this football season. So when you start breaking the game down, it's like one of my little pet peeves about researchers. And about, about
researcher?
one
particular one?
Like the game's in Green Bay.
Yes.
All right, we're in mid-November. It's probably going to be cold.
Maybe.
Right?
Yeah. Maybe.
So I guarantee you at some point on this network, on your local sports talk radio shows, on those dopey gambling shows that you guys all pay attention to, someone's going to throw out a stat about Aaron Rodgers' record in Green Bay when the temperature's under a certain degree.
Like 35
it's
degrees.
very good.
Right? Like Troy, have you worked that up? Troy's our research guy.
It's very good, by the way.
Have you worked that up yet?
Yeah.
See? They can't help themselves.
They all have it.
Okay?
Trends, man.
All right, Troy.
It's really good.
What is their
good.
record under whatever degree you want to give us? See, by the way, the mere fact that we have this to show you means that somebody 2 hours ago said, let's put up a stat about Aaron Rodgers. Let me read this now. Games under an arbitrary number, 35 degrees, which, by the way, Troy, why did you pick 35 degrees?
Well, it makes the stats look better.
Yeah, exactly.
I knew it! You're cherry picking stats, Troy!
Like, water doesn't freeze at 35 degrees, right? So when it's 35 degrees, God forbid I ask what his record is at 36, but at 35 degrees, put it back up. He's 15-4.
Hey,
right?
Big question for you, Troy. It is 36 degrees right now. What's his record?
Right.
I don't have that one.
Like
Okay, well,
yes,
look at you.
we pick these stupid, arbitrary stats. Oh, look, 39 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. But at 40 degrees, the Packers are winless. Like,
Well, not winless.
here's the rub on tonight's game. We're going to find out tonight a lot more about the Green Bay Packers because one game where Watson has 4 catches and 3 of them are touchdowns, and they are committed to the run, which they were, and give Green Bay credit. They ran the hell out of the ball against the Dallas Cowboys, but now you have to do it again. Now there's got to be some level of consistency where the focus of our offense is not going to be on number 12. It's going to be on our best player, who's Aaron Jones.
Absolutely. And the Tennessee Titans, man, do not underestimate their physicality on defense. They shut down the Chiefs. They shut down the Broncos, which is hard last weekend. All they do is beat you up at the line of scrimmage, and they hold your wide receivers. They're very physical. Like, can the Packers now, on a short turnaround, play very physical defense? They won't be able to run the ball on the Titans like the Cowboys. So that to me is the one thing I want to see. But to their advantage, though, is that the Titans just can't score. So, 17 points might win this game for the Packers.
Right, and listen, all you got to do is win the game, because if you're in the game, you are now officially back in that playoff conversation. But I still don't believe yet, and listen, they're not stupid. They recognize what they do well and what they don't do well. I think they're going to run the ball. I think they realize, we got away from the run in other games, and it probably cost us a couple W's, right? And right now we're playing for our playoff lives. But it's still going to be interesting because it's still up to Aaron Rodgers at the line of scrimmage to go with the play that LaFleur calls.
It is to a certain degree, but he's done that. He's done that to spite the coach at times too, right? So now he's just going to change the play to do what he wants to do. I feel like at times he just runs what he calls because that's what's called, and if it doesn't work, it's not his fault, right? So if he calls a run play, I would imagine he keeps the run play on. But look, Aaron Jones, and I think Rodgers has to know this, right? He's their best offensive player,
right?
Outside of obviously Rodgers,
right.
So getting the ball in his hands the most helps him out, helps the play action pass, takes the pressure off him, and there should be an incentive to run him more often because he's your best guy.
By the way, Troy, what is the Titans' record when it's under 35 degrees?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Probably not great.
Right, so what's the point? Right, there are 2 teams playing tonight. We know how one of them performs under 35 degrees, but we had no consideration at all for the fact that they're playing against another team. And by the way, it ain't warm in Tennessee year-round either.
No, it's not.
They are not a bad cold weather team.
They're built for the cold weather because they win in the line of scrimmage. They run the football. They play action pass. They're just a physical, tough team. It's so funny, man. We for some reason, discredit them all the time. I do not know why.
I think it's because of Ryan Tannehill. That's my gut.
For
and
sure.
I think Ryan Tannehill kind of has primetime Kirk Cousins disease.
Yes.
Where Jimmy Garoppolo disease, where the guy's been a winning quarterback, right? His teams go to the playoffs, and then you have that moment like last year against the Cincinnati Bengals where you're like, how did this guy make the NFL? You know what I mean?
They don't win because of him at times, right? They win in spite of him, which I think is a big difference.
Which is probably not fair to say to the guy.
It's not fair,
but it's fair to say to the guy.
Yeah, like they win because they're very well coached.
Yeah.
They play extremely hard. They're physical. They play tough defense. They run the football. Tannehill's like number 7 on that, right? They don't have a wide receiver they trust right now with Brown and Philly, and he was hurt for part of the season. And so they don't win because of him. They win because he's just there.
Yeah.
And that's why we don't trust him.
Well, Derrick Henry's a stud, but check this out as far as you talking about defense. So the Titans got off this horrendous start. They're 0-2. Everyone's panicking. Maybe they're not listening to Vrabel anymore. Blah, 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 blah. Since then, they're only allowing 15 points a game.
Yeah.
Like, that is, like, you're not lying. You might win scoring 17 points tonight.
Yeah, and look, they held the Chiefs to 20 points, including overtime, right? Like, it took the Chiefs that much to get 17 points against them, to get 20 points. And, again, like, they're built like sort of the Pete Carroll defenses at times. They just, like, their secondary just grabs you and holds you, and they force the refs to call every play. Like, they just are a very physical bunch. It's hard to play. I don't see like Watson having a good game tonight.
Yeah. By the way, I'm being told now that we have a weather update for the Buffalo-Cleveland game.
Right.
Weather forecasters, go ahead. Are now saying 12 feet of snow.
Wow.
Good.
That's what we were being told. So let me go to our researcher again, Troy. In Buffalo, what is the Bills' record with Josh Allen when there's 12 feet of snow on the ground? Can you give us their record when there's, again, not 10 feet, not 7 feet, when there are 12 feet of snow? How do the Buffalo Bills do?
I don't have snow data. I just have temperature. No snow.
Oh.
Do they
That's
raise
where I
the
draw the
signs,
line.
though? So you still get parking tickets.
You're putting me in a bad spot, Troy. I think we all know what's coming up, don't we?
Yes.
Troy, thank you.
Yeah.
Just be gone.
By the way, while you're there, can you give me some Dunkin' Donuts, if you don't mind?
Get him his peppermint mocha. Come on.
Anything.
He needs his
Meanwhile,
peppermint.
just one more thought on Green Bay. After Tennessee, they are at Philly.
Yes.
All right, which will be the game of the week, obviously, and that's a Sunday night game. Then they have the Bears, who all of a sudden score 30 points a game every week, and they let up 31 points a game every week, right? And then they get the bye.
Yeah.
And I just it was on my mind. So a quick question: do you think there's a benefit having the bye that late?
I think having a bye like middle of the season is best. But the best example of a late bye helping was Tampa Bay the year they won the Super Bowl, right? They weren't terribly good the first 10 games, 12 games. They had a bye, did not lose after the bye. So maybe for an older team like this, the bye is able to kind of reset where they're at. I prefer as a player to have a bye like week 8 to 10.
Got it. So I got to cut the season in half or as close to half as you can.
And also, too, like you sort of want your Thursday night game and your bye week more separated than just right now. Like you want your Thursday night to be week 4 and your bye week to be week 10, not to be like it is now.
All right, so we obviously are all in on tonight's game. Later today, Cody will give you a staff pick on that game. The guys have actually won a couple games, shockingly.
One game under 500, Craig.
Still under 500.
But after tonight.
And we still call that losing money. That's all we call that. Hey there, thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.